Welcome everybody live on YouTube tonight with our group doing A Course in Miracles and Nonviolent Communication. And I just wanted to welcome everyone here. Yeah, just to, I was talking about the perception of needs. And of course, A Course in Miracles says that the only thing that we need is to accept the atonement for ourselves, which is absolutely the truth. But if you live in the world and you have a body and maybe a house or children or whatever, you're going to perceive that there are a lot of needs that you have that are not being met by just asking Daddy God to to hand it over, give me $1 million or something. You do perceive yourself as having needs. And I learned a really kind of a lesson about that because when I was much younger, like in my early 20s, I went to work for the mental health center as a therapist. And they put you through a bunch of training in order to be able to work with people that were in, it was a crisis intervention center. So they put me through a bunch of training for crisis intervention. And the first day, the instructor, he says to me, okay, so you've got a guy on the phone and he's calling you up and he's telling, and this, I was a Buddhist. I had spent, a couple of years in the mountains meditating with these Buddhists. I thought I had my head on straight. So he says, the guy's calling you up and he's saying, I'm having a real problem. I lost my job. My wife is leaving me. I'm going to lose my home. I think I'm going to kill myself. What do I do? And I said to him, well, all those perceived needs that you have of a wife and a home and a job really are not the problem. The problem is that you need to connect with your spiritual self or something. And my teacher, I thought he was going to fall over. He was like, you can never say anything like that to people when they are calling in crisis. That is not going to help them in any way at all. And, don't bring any of your spiritual thought into this, because this is a person who's really having a problem, not some imaginary thing that you can make him feel better about so that he won't do that. So I learned really quickly, no, real people have real needs. And I also learned real quickly that I couldn't tell somebody who'd called me many times and said, I'm going to go kill myself. I couldn't say to them, yeah, well, why don't you go do that? Because you're really bugging the crap out of us here. Can't do that either. But I was much younger. Anyway, perception of needs is a very real thing for people. And so we can't spiritualize it out. You have to recognize that not everybody is studying this path. Not everybody has these highfalutin ideas about their relationship with God. Many people are really suffering because they perceive that they have these needs. So it's really important that we don't blow them off by spiritual bypassing, but that we actually help them to experience themselves in the way that is going to be helpful to them. So anybody have any thoughts about that? Yes, Brooklyn.
Namaste, mighty companions. We meet people where they are, not where we are.
Yeah. Exactly. So we're reading Nonviolent Communication, Language of Love. Yes, Rafi, please go ahead.
And it's important to make sure that every feeling that comes up gets acknowledged rather than tried to be suppressed or distracted from. Because if you do that, it's only going to repeat itself.
Yeah. This is a discipline. This is work. And it is not simple or easy, but it does take some real dedication and open-mindedness to be able to work with people who are having crisis or having difficulty. And you're going to find that as you learn how to do this, it becomes more and more um, uh, natural to really listen to people and to really acknowledge what's going on with them. And as you do that, you find out more about yourself as well. Because you're not hearing it because you don't need to know it. You're hearing it because it's a lesson for you. And when people are having difficulty, you can just say, this is my own mind as well. And we're going to talk about taking responsibility for our feelings. Yeah, Steve, go ahead.
I'm not talking about what other people's feelings and dealing with listening to other people's feelings. What's coming up for me is there's a very thin line between me feeling my feelings, letting them come and not repressing them, and then becoming swimming in without any detachment, becoming the feeling. Let's say one of discomfort, or let me give an example. All right, so I recently had a health scare from data on a blood test. Now oh, I can feel what could be this, and I can be on high alert and worried, or I can all and feel that, and then I could feel it to the extent of investigating it in a way that makes it become panic, as opposed to looking at it as, well, here's data. I'm feeling okay now. There's a thin line between noticing my feelings and becoming my feelings. And I'd like to hear some of your wisdom about that. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Steve. Well, you just spelled it right out. I'm
It's a
not those
question.
feelings. Yeah, yeah. But is also the answer. It is a thin line because it is the we, because of our hypnosis and belief in what the ego is telling us about ourselves, that we believe we are that character on the screen, then when we're experiencing a feeling, because we believe we're that character on the screen, we're thinking it's us. It belongs to me. It's my feeling. And that feeling defines who I am. And so that's why we have to step out of that belief that I'm that person that has a feeling. I don't have feelings. The reality of, and we can't really, bring this up with people either. The reality of it is the only real emotion, the only real feeling that is love or a call for love. And so those are the only feelings that I really have are love or a call for love. Now, all these other things that I define myself, I feel sad, I feel angry, I feel afraid, all those other things are are definitions that I'm giving to myself. I say, I am sad. I am afraid. I'm not those things. And that's where this release technique that Rafi does is so good, because when those feelings come up, we can look at them and say, it's just coming up to show me that I am calling for love. or
I'd like
wrestling.
to expand on this a little bit. I want to say that your analogy of the screen, I'll go into a movie and get so involved with the screen that I'll forget I'm in the movie theater. And I'm really not sure that remembering I'm always in the movie theater is realistic as a human being. That detachment, that I'm not these feelings, as you've been speaking. I think what it comes down to for me is I'll get lost in the movie, forget I'm in the movie theater. I'll really get involved with the movie. But the rate at which I can remember it's then, oh, wait a second. I got really charged here in this scenario. And the ability to just come back to the awareness that this is just a movie. I think that's in health definitions, we're not asked to never have fear. And we can't always say, oh, this is just the ego's fear. It's a matter of health, is the matter of, and I think it applies psychologically, is how quick can I return from getting lost to getting found again in my observer self, in my divine self, in my Holy Spirit guidance. So it's not so much that I won't lose my identity in the ego. I will. It's a matter of how adept am I, because that's the human life. I think part of that is for me to experience getting lost. And also I'm here to also be found. That's why little kids love hide and go seek. There's something really neat about the bliss of reunion after separation. So it's not realistic to take my feelings and label them as just feelings, because sometimes I become the feelings.
Right.
And the important thing is how adept, how masterful am I at returning back to my correct thinking. That's called heart rate variability. A healthy person gets stressed. Corticosteroids are flying out. Adrenaline is, the heart rate's going up. My muscles are contracted. My shoulders are up. And then how fast do I go back?
Right.
And then the oxytocin and the parasympathetic nervous system.
Taking those
So what
three
I'm
short
talking
breaths.
about is
Yeah. Taking those 3 breaths.
what I'm talking about
Recognizing.
is recognition and return.
Yes. Yes.
We call it in chiropractic slipping and checking. It's not realistic to say I'll never slip.
No.
But we meet with each other to check, to get checked. The way Tiger Woods would still take lessons from his master.
Yes. Yes.
Thank you. I'm complete.
Thank you, Stephen. That's exactly it. That's why we practice. That's why we practice. And the more we practice, the more it becomes natural, just like, throwing a ball or hitting a golf ball or whatever. You're not going to get there by just imagining I'm going to do it and then going out and whiffing every ball you try to hit. You're going to do it by practicing. So
what
that's
really helps is when I notice myself, my shoulders are getting up. What I do is I notice it. And then what happens miraculously is I drop my shoulders. I get in touch with my breath, my peace, my relaxed shoulders. And then I'm able to think better again.
exactly. Thank you. Brooklyn, thank you for your patience. Please go ahead.
It's interesting. I wrote a poem yesterday about noticing. Well, I was okay. I was feeling very good, and then feelings came in. And okay, let me read them. Let me read the poem. I call it At Home. No space exists between love's presence, hearts entwined to beat together. Home and now, nothing missed. Time merges, cleansed in grace. A voice shouts, "This is not you. How dare you accept non-deserved blessing? Look around, it is wrong. You are meant to do this and this. But I am here, no need to go. It is inside where to be. I am here to greet this echo. A veil parts, vision remembers. In gratitude, I bow again." Thank you, thank you. I love us. You
Noticing.
muted, Lenny.
Oh, thank you. I was telling Rafi to please go ahead.
Yeah, in regard to all that he said, Steve said that about his feelings. A lot of that, and I've seen it myself, I've experienced it myself, otherwise I wouldn't be able to talk about it clearly, is the ego wanting to make mountains out of molehills. When you come back right down to it, feelings are not facts, they're feelings, they're energy. It comes up to leave. That's all it is. Ego wants to turn it into, God, this is the worst hell I've ever been through in my life. Well, there's no you, there's no me, there's no my life, there's no such thing as hell. Okay, all of that is part of the story. This is the Rafi Morrow story. I was born here, I was raised here, I grew up there, I got a thing, I was a single parent, I was in a relationship. It's still just a story. The feelings that come up, welcomed, accepted, allowed, and then released, and they're gone. The simpler you keep it, the more effective it becomes. And the thing is, the more you do it, the better you get at it. If you, in the beginning, when you were a little kid, the first time you got on a bike, you weren't very good at riding. But after a while, hey, look at me, I can ride with no hands. Ooh, okay, because you did it a lot. It's the same thing with this. Um, if you let your mind take over and identify with it, then it's going to take a lot more effort to get through it and get back to the peace that we genuinely are. Uh, uh, so identifying with all of that stuff. Now you had some beautiful signals. He says my shoulders go up in the air. A lot of people, when I feel resistance, my right shoulder tightens up. When I feel fear of lack of wanting approval or control or security, I feel it in my solar plexus. Great. Now I know where it is. Now I can let it go instead of fighting with it. It'll give you the indication. It's regardless of what it looks like, even the worst fear or anxiety you possibly can feel somehow is here to help. And the here to help is, can I recognize it? Can I welcome it? Can I accept it? Can I allow it? Now can I let it go? Uh, there's nothing in this. There's nothing in this dream that isn't working for our ultimate good. And no matter how distressing it seems, look for the goodness in it. I have a friend of mine who's going through tremendous gastric distress for the last 3 or 4 days, or five, no, over a week. And I said, wow, that's terrible. He said, yeah, but I did lose 12 pounds. Oh, no kidding. And he's always concerned that how am I going to lose this weight? Well, guess what happened? You already lost that weight, and because all right, so find the perfect where the perfect it doesn't seem to be. That's all. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Rafi. And yeah, Brooklyn, please go ahead.
You know, I forgot to say the feelings in my poem, but usually when the feelings come, I feel sad. I feel, yeah. And but I remember that I'm not the sadness. I'm not the urgency because I'm not Holy Spirit is not urgent or should. And yeah, we got to remember it, like Rafi said, it's for us. It's for us to build the muscle to remember who I really is. I am not feelings. I am beyond that. Thank you.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. All right. Wow. Edward, yeah, please go ahead.
I just did some work yesterday on chapter 4, section 4, this need not be, where Jesus answers to our experiences of sadness and depression and guilt is this need not be. So it's a wonderful message of hope, and when we get into those places, when we are not joyous, he offers us a simple forgiveness method. So it's it's the mind training. It's I've done the letting go or the Sedona method technique for years, and what I've found is that's more centered on the body, and it does work. It does release the energy. But what I've found over the years is that some things just my mind training needs to be more on point, so I don't have to use the Sedona or the letting go technique. Because my mind is trained. I don't, those thoughts will just, instead of me grabbing the thought or just being the thought, those thoughts will just go right by because I've worked with the mind training with the Holy Spirit in, with the text and I never did the text. Hawkins said, don't do the text, just do the workbook. Cause he was more on a vibrational or a calibration, energy level, frequency level on the workbook has a frequency of 600 and the text is 550 and blah, blah, blah. But I ended up crashing on that and I had to come back and start working with the text and working with teachers like Kate
Yeah.
Greaves and really authentic and sincere. And that really what that does is it just started breaking my heart open. So, Steve, I know you don't, you do the lessons and whatnot. I don't know anything, but just based on what you've shared. So if you wanted to get into the text, I'd be happy to read through it with you at 6
I do
p.m.
the
Eastern.
text every morning with someone, but thank you for your
Okay.
offer.
Okay, you're welcome. So yeah, chapter 4. So
Yeah.
this need not be.
I'll tell you, that's a great chapter, and you're right, Ed. You know, but and the text, I don't know what Hawkins was talking about. I've listened to him hours and hours of him, but I don't know why he would say, because Jesus himself says the theoretical basis of the text is the basis for these lessons. If you don't understand the text, these lessons are going to be nice, but they're not going to give you what you need. You need the meat. And so
That was a little, that was the crack in Hawkins's whole thing. Because at the end, full circle, 40, 50, whatever, however many years, how many volumes he wrote on non-duality and Buddhism, non-duality specifically, he crashed and burned, ended up uh, at his last satsang devoting his life to Jesus Christ as Lord and Savior. Jesus Christ had to come in and save him. Uh, so that was the whole benefit of his life, was to go through this whole phase. This is how I've seen it, this whole phase of non-duality, 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 non-duality. and then crash, and his last song just be like a frail old man in a wheelchair, like thanking Jesus for saving his life. And so it was wow, it just blew my mind. And I think it kind of felt, what it showed me was all things work for the best. It filled a gap, like Eckhart Tolle, these people who aren't like course based, but it fills a gap for that level of consciousness that isn't ready to that has, if I'm stepping out too far, I'm sorry, but that seems to still have an authority problem with God or Jesus or a higher power or whatever, and they can start practicing these things like the Sedona or the letting go or Eckhart Tolle or these other guys, and it still, what Hawkins has said, it still lifts the level of the sea, which lifts all the ships on the sea. I don't know,
Yeah.
I'll stop right there.
Thank you,
That's the
Ed.
reason. That's the reason and logic behind it, as best as I could tell.
Yeah. And so if you wanted to join us, I know you do. We study the text every Saturday morning. Um, and we're going through it page by page or paragraph by paragraph with Iris. And I've done that several times, gone through the entire text with a group or with the single person, and it really is a wonderful practice. That's why I'm sending
And
out
Tuesdays also.
on Thursdays, yes.
Tuesday.
Tuesdays, yes.
And Monday, we just started the new group.
Right, and we have the new group on Monday. So we're doing it. But that's why I started sending out the text with the lessons. So that if you read the text every day, you would actually read the whole course and more by the end of the year. So I hope that you guys are enjoying that. And I thought I'd have to do all these extra emails and no, it's as simple as pie. The Holy Spirit's right there. So Karen has her hand up, and then Rafi. Go ahead, Karen.
Thanks, everybody. This is really a really good conversation, and it's really helping me a lot. I love what everyone shared, and chapter 4, section 4, this need not be, is one of my favorite sections. And in there he says, you are deprived of nothing except by your own decisions, and then decide otherwise. And that's what's so helpful in this course, is everything is about choosing once again. And what Rafi shared reminded me of, I don't know, am I echoing?
No.
Oh, for some reason my phone's echoing. What Rafi shared brought me to lesson 161. Give me your blessing, Holy Son of God. And in the very last paragraph, he says, today's idea is your safe escape from anger and from fear. Be sure you use it instantly should you be tempted to attack a brother and perceive in him the symbol of your fear. And you will see him suddenly transformed from enemy to savior, from the devil into Christ. And the blessing is choosing once again. It's changing my perception, asking the Holy Spirit to help me see this differently. And for me, it's always about the body. And my perception of the body is deformed. And it's my perception. And the course tells us it's not the body that's deformed, it is the perception. And we all need that correction. And this is so helpful, to just be reminded that it's just a change of mind. That's all it is. It's choosing again. And it's so simple. And when you're in it, like, it can be really very difficult sometimes, But once the willingness comes in and the surrender comes in, and you just recognize that's all I have to do, and you do it, you're free. So it turns the curse into a blessing. It's so beautiful. Thank you.
Thank you, Karen. That's really beautiful. Thank you for that. What an amazing turnaround that is. It's a turnaround. Rafi, yes, please go ahead.
Here's an exercise that a lot of people use that's very effective. If you look at your true self as the universe, now the universe is infinite, and the universe, no matter what goes on, nothing can impact it. You could set off the biggest hydrogen bomb in the world in the universe and it wouldn't even blink. So if you look at the universe as your friend, as love, as consciousness, as God made manifest, as God, as the manifestation of God, then what can it handle? What can it absorb? What can go on in it that can affect it? Nothing. And so every feeling that's released into it gets immediately absorbed and dissolved. If you don't identify with any of your thoughts, those are just thoughts. They have nothing to do with what I am. The universe takes care of all of that. Because the universe is love. Love is consciousness, beingness, infinite. And it's. I've talked to several people who use this, and they love how effective it is. So I just thought I'd pass that along.
That's
Yeah.
better than vanilla of chocolate ice cream.
All right. I like ice cream. So, okay. All right, you guys. Well, yeah, go
I
ahead.
just like to say, because I didn't get my hand on, and I knew we were taking off, but if we just want to take it and just translate the course into the Holy Son of God, or the universe, and because see the course is a someone told me this recently and it just made sense. It's a holographic mind training. Holographic. We're 3D individuals through these eyes. Through our Christ vision, it's holographic. We see everything. We see everything.
Yes.
So the course uses precise language and words and meanings because it's like a knife. It's like a sword of truth, and it cuts right through the BS of these of the new age thinker and whatnot, or whatever. So we're the Holy Son of God, not these bodies. Our mind, the mind of God. So yeah, there's nothing that can destroy that.
Absolutely. Thank you, Ed. Thank you. Thank you. So we're going to take a little bit of a look at our book that we're reading, Nonviolent Communication, the Language of Love. We're in 5. I just kind of skipped through because there were some exercises and just decided to come on into the next chapter, which is chapter 5, taking responsibility for our feelings. And he has a quote here from Epictetus, who Epictetus, who Ken Wapnick quotes quite often. And it says, people are disturbed not by things, but by the view they take of them. And that's just what we're talking about. We're not disturbed by the world. We're disturbed by what we think about the world, what we see, our perception. So let's look at if someone would like to read, if you can, is it showing on the screen? Okay. All right. Would somebody like to read Hearing a Negative Message, 4 options? I would, but I've been reading a lot lately today, so
I'll read them.
thank you.
Hearing a negative message, 4 options. The third component of NVC entails the acknowledgement of the root of our feelings. Just made it louder. I don't know if you could hear me well. NVC heightens our awareness that what others say and do may be the stimulus, but never the cause. never the cause of our feelings. We see that our feelings result from how we choose to receive what others say and do, as well as from our particular needs and expectations in that moment. With this third component, we are led to accept responsibility for what we do to generate our own feelings. What others do may be the stimulus of our feelings, but not the cause. When someone gives us a negative message, whether verbally or non-verbally, we have 4 options as to how to receive it. One option is to take it personally by hearing blame and criticism. For example, someone is angry and says, "You are the most self-centered person I've ever met." If choosing to take it personally, we might react, "Oh, should I have been more sensitive?" We accept the other person's judgment and blame ourselves. We choose this option at great cost to our self-esteem, for it inclines us toward feelings of guilt, shame, and depression. So, 4 options for receiving negative messages. Number 1, blame ourselves. A second option is to fault the speaker. For example, in response to "You're the most self-centered person I've ever met," we might protest. "You have no right to say that. I'm always considering your needs. You're the only one who is really self-centered." When we receive this message and blame the speaker, we are likely to feel anger. Number 2, blame others. When receiving negative messages, our third option would be to shine the light of consciousness on our own feelings and needs. Thus, we might reply, "When I hear you say that I'm the most self-centered person you've ever met, I feel hurt because I need some recognition of my efforts to be considerate of your preferences." By focusing attention on our own feelings and needs, we become conscious that our current feeling of hurt derives from a need for our efforts to be recognized. Number 3, sense our own feelings and needs. Finally, a fourth option on receiving a negative message is to shine the light of consciousness on the other person's feelings and needs as they are currently expressed. We might, for example, ask, "Are you feeling hurt because you need more consideration for your preferences?" Number 4, sense others' feelings and needs. We accept responsibility for our feelings rather than blame other people by acknowledging our own needs, desires, expectations, values, or thoughts. Note the difference between the following expressions of disappointment. Example 1, "You disappointed me by not coming over last evening." B, "I was disappointed when you didn't come over because I wanted to talk over some things that were bothering me." Speaker A attributes responsibility for his disappointment solely to another person's action. Speaker B traces his feelings of disappointment to his own unfulfilled desire.
Can we just stop a minute there and think about
Sure.
that?
Sure.
Because, yeah, do you see the difference between saying, "You disappointed me and I feel bad," or "I was disappointed because I had some things that I needed to talk about." So it's my feelings, not blaming you, if that makes sense. Anybody have any thoughts about that? Can you see the difference between that kind of conversation and what you would expect the outcome of a conversation like that to be? Mickey, yes, please go ahead.
It occurred to me that another, maybe even better way of saying that is, I was disappointed because I had expectations and needs that were not fulfilled.
Yes. Yeah.
You
And
know,
yeah.
even admitting to myself that that fact diffuses it before I even need to have the conversation with the person. I had needs and expectations. That's a tip off right there. That especially if we're thinking in course terms, I, the individual person, had needs and expectations of another separate individual, then you're really getting deep into it, that all of our suffering comes from needs and expectations that we think we have
Yeah.
with others. So it gets gnarly in the weeds there.
It does. That's why you need to be identifying those weeds. So so we don't get gnarly, and we actually can talk to people about what we really think or really want, rather than going into this thing of blaming and shaming. Glorian, and then Steve. Go ahead, Glorian.
Yeah, no, just very simply, it's always about like just taking a pause, taking a step back, and taking responsibility. Because if we take responsibility first, then we're not casting blame and projection out there. So the idea is we want to recognize what it is that we feel before we even respond to something or say anything, because we know that all thought is projection of guilt and fear. So we make that space, we look at it, we take responsibility for what we see, and then we present it in a way that's not, blaming anybody else. Thanks.
Thank you, Glorian. Yes, exactly. And it is that taking responsibility, that it is a complete step back. That is not something that we learn from anywhere else in this world. This is something that it really has to be taught. You have to learn it and practice it. Again, Steve, yes, please go ahead.
Piggybacking on expectations, there's no lack of opportunities for me to notice things in my universe not going exactly the way I think they should be. Ah, I'm complete.
I love it. Thank you, Steve. Yeah. Man, am I ever a selfish bastard? That's how I think. Rafi, please go ahead.
Yeah, another way is, of course, just being a really good listener. And when they finish saying what they're saying, you can respond by saying, I'm glad you got a chance to express that, to get that off your chest. I hope you feel better. Um, and this way, there's no confrontation. There's nothing. You just allowed them to express what they were going to express, and you didn't come back at them with anything. It's just, I'm glad you got a chance to, you felt comfortable enough to express that to me. That's great. And then silently in your mind, you can just, I love you, I love you, I love you, I love you, I love you. You're amazed how much power that has.
Well, and the other thing too, that is another even best practice, is just to say nothing. Once you figure out the reason that I am upset is because I'm the one who's disappointed because I didn't get my needs met, then why should I even mention it to you? Because that puts you in a place where now you're going to say, oh, I'm so sorry. I didn't realize I was doing that. And now it becomes your responsibility. So it's a funny thing, but saying nothing is almost always the best option when these things come around. Clear it up in your own mind and then forgive it, and then it no longer exists. Otherwise, yeah, you're putting it right back on them. Edward, please go ahead.
My only function is forgiveness.
That's it.
That's it. You nailed it. That's what kept coming up, and you nailed it.
Yeah.
I'm responsible for everything I see, everything I feel, all my thoughts, experiences.
I love it. Thanks, Ed. All right. We have about 4 more minutes. We can read through this next example, or I'll read it, and then I have a little song. It also, besides being my birthday, it's my nephew's son, his birthday. He's the one who passed away in 6 years ago from Duchenne's muscular dystrophy. He was a young boy, 12 years old, and he had a really difficult life. But today was his birthday as well, which always makes me so sad. My birthday is a sad day in so many ways because I choose to grieve over stuff that really is not necessary. But anyway, I'm not going to read that. I'm just going to go to that thing. And Steve, go ahead.
I'm learning that in the world of form, the best I can get is approximation, not perfection. Knowing the nature of form helps. That there's no real perfection because it's always changing. So that's very helpful for me to identify the world of form for what it is and not to make it into something other than that. I'm complete.
Thank you, Steve. Perfect. Karen, yes, please go ahead.
Yeah, Lynn, I just want to say that my comment to what you just shared, that you still grieve over stuff that you said that I shouldn't be grieving about, or something like that. And like, as far as I'm concerned, it's perfect, and you should be doing whatever you need to do. That's a process. It's a process, and it's okay. And there's no, I don't think you used the word should, but something like that. I don't remember exactly what words you used, but it's definitely okay, and it's definitely perfect, and it's definitely a process. So you're perfect right where you are, and you grieve as long as you need to until you don't need to. That's all. Thank you.
Thank you, Karen. I love you. All right. So this is a song. It's short. It's called Hold the Hurt. This is my nephew, Chris Wooters, who has some of the most gorgeous music. And this is his son's birthday. I would play the dedication to his little boy, but it's longer and it's kind of, yeah. Anyway, let's listen to this one. Oh, and by the way, his house burned down yesterday. That's what I was going to say. His house burned down yesterday. So, yeah, they're grieving over that as well. Okay, here we go.
I see you cracking, but still standing. Your hands are shaking, still you try. You keep on giving while you're breaking. But love, it's okay to cry. Not every wound needs covered. Not every war needs won. Sometimes the bravest thing is to whisper, I'm not done. Hold the hurt, let it stay. It's okay to feel this way. Don't rush the healing, don't hide the scars. Every piece of you is art. You think you're fading into silence, but I hear every breath you
All right.
That's nice, Lynn. Really nice.
Thank you. Yeah.
Thank you, Lynn. Thanks for sharing that.
All right, you guys. I love you all. Thank you for all the
Mm-hmm.
birthday wishes.
Happy birthday.
I think my
Feliz cumpleaños.
gracias.
Eat more cake.
I don't think I have any more cake, but they just brought dinner home, so
Oh,
I'm
yeah.
gonna go downstairs and have a birthday dinner. So thank you all very much. I love you,
Oh,
and
big hugs.
thank you.
Everybody have a beautiful evening.
Grateful for you all.